The Chiefs come into Week 4 with something more than a normal Sunday on the line. They've got a chance to stop the slide, reset the season, and reintroduce Arrowhead as the nightmare it's supposed to be for visiting teams. Right now, the record and the optics make this feel urgent. Kansas City sits at 1-2, which is unfamiliar territory for a team built to compete at the top of the AFC, and that reality puts a real weight on this clash with Baltimore. On the other side, the Ravens aren't just playing for the standings. They're playing to prove they can beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in a meaningful spot, and that psychological edge matters. Lamar Jackson is still searching for consistent wins over Mahomes in big moments. Those stakes make this more than another Week 4 game. It's a statement opportunity for both clubs. That urgency is exactly what you want to feel before a big matchup, because it forces adjustments, it forces coaches to lean into their best ideas, and it gets players who've underperformed a clear wake-up call. For the Chiefs, that means identifying what's been missing offensively the last 3 weeks and figuring out who can change the tone from the first drive. It's also why the report that Xavier Worthy has been practicing this week is such a relevant development. Adding speed and a vertical threat changes how defenses play Mahomes and opens up opportunities for the run game and underneath passing. At the same time, you can't ignore that Kansas City's run game has been a problem this season, and that balance has been off. Mahomes has been chipping in on the ground while the backfield still searches for explosive consistency. All of those pieces, the record, the matchup, and the possible return of key playmakers, compound to make this feel like an early season pivot point. Before we dig into the X's and O's, I want to hear from you. Do you feel nervous or confident heading into this Ravens game? Vote in the poll on screen, nervous or confident, and drop one sentence in the comments explaining why. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and help us keep growing toward our goal of 5,000 subscribers. Every sub gets us closer to more content and bigger discussions for Chiefs fans like you. Kansas City's offensive story this week starts with one name: Xavier Worthy. The rookie wideout has been practicing, and if he's good to go, that's a huge shift in how the Chiefs can stretch the field. His raw speed forces safeties to back off, and that alone can open space underneath for Travis Kelce and the running game. Think about it. When defenses have to account for a true vertical threat, Mahomes gets windows he just hasn't had through the first 3 weeks. That little bit of cushion is often the difference between a drive stalling at midfield or ending with points on the board. And it's not just about the highlight plays. Even when Worthy doesn't touch the ball, his presence changes coverages and keeps defenses honest. That could prove critical against a Ravens defense that thrives on aggressiveness and loves to blitz from different looks. Patrick Mahomes has been trying to create offense almost entirely through improvisation lately, but this week offers a chance for him to get back into rhythm. A healthy Worthy gives him a reliable burner, but it also takes pressure off other receivers like Rashee Rice, who can operate in more favorable matchups. The middle of the field should loosen up for Kelce too, and when Kelce is working in space, the whole Chiefs offense flows differently. That's where Andy Reid has to be creative, get Kelce going early, test Worthy deep, and force the Ravens to pick their poison. Mahomes doesn't need to throw for 400 yards for Kansas City to win, but he does need a few high-leverage plays to tilt the game. That's where Worthy's return could be the subtle X factor, because just 1 or 2 explosive plays could swing momentum at Arrowhead. Now let's talk about Isaiah Pacheco, because if the Chiefs are going to steady themselves, the run game can't keep lagging. Pacheco has had some flashes, but he hasn't yet delivered the kind of tone-setting performance this team needs. The Ravens are physical up front, but the formula against them has always been balance. You can't let their front pin their ears back. If Pacheco gets 15-20 quality carries and forces Baltimore to respect the ground game, suddenly play action opens up and Mahomes has clean shots downfield. And don't overlook his energy. Pacheco's running style, violent, relentless, emotional, can lift the offense. A long physical drive capped by him in the end zone would not only help on the scoreboard, but also set the tone that Kansas City isn't going to get pushed around. So when you look at the Chiefs' offensive keys, it's a combination of explosive speed and steady ground control. Worthy's return makes Mahomes more dangerous, and Pacheco's breakout potential keeps the defense honest. If Kansas City can blend those two elements, they'll finally look like themselves again. I want to hear from you. If you could script the first offensive play of the game, who gets the ball? Worthy, Pacheco, or Kelce? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you haven't yet, tap that subscribe button and help us push toward 5,000 subscribers. Every new sub keeps the conversation growing and lets us deliver more breakdowns like this one. If the offense is about rhythm and explosiveness, the defense is all about discipline and matchups this week. Anytime you face Lamar Jackson, you know the challenge isn't just stopping a quarterback, it's slowing down an entire offensive philosophy. Lamar is at his most dangerous when the defense gets greedy, when defenders over-pursue or lose contain, and that's where Kansas City's front seven has to stay locked in. Steve Spagnuolo has built a defense that thrives on pressure, but the key here isn't necessarily sacks, it's containment. Keeping Lamar in the pocket, forcing him to make throws into tight windows, and avoiding those back-breaking 25-yard scrambles that flip momentum. This is where guys like Nick Bolton and Willie Gay Jr. become critical. They can't just hit, they have to diagnose plays instantly and close off running lanes before they open. Of course, Lamar isn't the only ground threat in this matchup. Derrick Henry gives Baltimore a completely different dynamic. The Chiefs know that if Henry starts leaning on them in the second half, drives get longer, their offense sits on the sideline, and Arrowhead gets quiet. That's the nightmare scenario. The flip side, Kansas City's defense has been steadily improving week by week, and this is a chance to prove it. Chris Jones anchoring the middle, George Karlaftis setting edges, and Bolton filling gaps. That's the formula to keep Henry from dictating terms. He's not the same player he was 3 or 4 years ago, but if he gets downhill and second-level defenders have to tackle low, him in space, it's still trouble. This is one of those games where gang tackling and discipline matter more than highlight reel plays. One thing to watch for is how the secondary holds up if the Chiefs commit extra attention to the run. The Ravens aren't loaded with elite wideouts, but Lamar has built chemistry with guys like Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, and those two can punish overcommitments. Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed will be under pressure to play sticky coverage, and the safeties have to pick their spots carefully when deciding to creep into the box. That balance between stacking the run and not leaving corners on islands is going to be a chess match all night. If Kansas City wins that battle, it tilts the entire game in their favor. The bottom line is this: the Chiefs don't need to completely shut down Lamar and Henry. They just need to limit the explosive plays, win on third down, and make Baltimore work for every yard. If they can do that, Mahomes will have enough possessions to tip the game in Kansas City's direction. I want to know what you think. Who's the most underrated defender on this Chiefs unit right now? Drop your answer below, and let's get the conversation going. And remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Join the Total Chiefs News family and help us hit that 5,000 subscriber milestone. Bold predictions always stir things up, and this game gives us 3 big ones to think about. First, Xavier Worthy isn't just going to play, he's going to make a difference. The rookie has been itching to get involved, and the Ravens' defense hasn't faced his kind of speed yet this season. I'm predicting that he not only stretches the field, but also records his first explosive highlight moment in a Chiefs uniform. Whether it's a deep shot from Mahomes or a gadget play designed to get him in space. Even if it's just one play, it's going to be the kind that wakes up Arrowhead and forces Baltimore to adjust. That kind of spark has been missing from Kansas City's offense so far, and this is the week it returns. Second, it's time for Isaiah Pacheco to put together the kind of statement performance that defines a season. He's been solid, but I'm calling it now. Pacheco goes over 100 total yards and finds the end zone. His energy is contagious, and against a physical Ravens defense, sometimes it takes one player to set the tone and say, "We're not backing down." A big night from Pacheco would not only balance the offense, but also send a message to the rest of the AFC that Kansas City's ground game is back on track. This team can't rely on Mahomes doing everything, and Pacheco's breakout could be the key that opens up the rest of the offense. And third, the boldest one of all, the Chiefs take down Baltimore in a tight physical game. I'm predicting Kansas City 24, Ravens 21. It's not going to be easy. The Ravens will land punches, and there will be moments where it feels like things are slipping away. But Mahomes, at Arrowhead, in a must-win situation, with reinforcements like Worthy back in the mix, that's a recipe for Kansas City to rise to the moment. A win would move the Chiefs to 2-2, right back in the AFC hunt, and it would re-establish confidence in a team that's taken some early criticism this season. It would also remind everyone, fans, media, and opponents, that counting out Kansas City is never a smart move. So here's what I want from you. Which bold prediction do you think is most likely? Worthy's impact play, Pacheco's breakout game, or the Chiefs pulling off the win? Drop your pick in the comments and tell me why. And while you're down there, make sure you've hit that like button and subscribe to Total Chiefs News. We're closing in on 5,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps keep this channel growing. Plus, if enough of you say yes, I'll do a full morning after reaction video breaking down every detail of this game. So let me know in the comments if that's something you want. That's going to wrap up the preview, but remember, this isn't just another game. It's a chance for Kansas City to change the entire tone of the season. And if these bold predictions hit, we'll be talking about this as the night the Chiefs got back to being the Chiefs.